Wednesday, June 28th. Welcome back to Damon Bruce Plus. Great to have you here. Thanks to anyone who's tuning in for the very first time. I'll tell you, we've added 400 subscribers in just the last 72 hours. I remember all of you OGs. I know who all of you are. I can name you. And we got a lot more new names in the hopper joining the momentum that we got here. Momentum that has even led to me fixing the focus issue. Jillian's in London, and I think I fixed the focus. Not that you need me in focus. You kind of want me a little soft, little Vaseline smear. Sybil Shepherd moonlighting reference 2 days in a row. You're welcome, America. I know you needed it. Hello. Welcome to an international audience. I'm not even kidding. Only 89% of my audience is coming from the continental United States. Hello, Japan. Hello, Philippines. Hello, Australia. It's good. What language do they speak in Australia? Hopefully they can translate what I'm saying into shrimp on the Barbie or whatever their native language is down there. Hello, Germany. Guten Tag. What an Ohtani Tuesday we bask in here on a Wednesday in San Francisco, California. Hold on, early sip of the day coming up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go today. We got a lot to get into. You know, Mike Trout never wanted much attention. Well, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. What would Mike Trout have to do to be the lead story of whatever happens with the Los Angeles Angels when he is standing next to a baseball deity? And Mike Trout is no slouch. Like, Mike Trout was about to go down as the best baseball player of his generation until Shohei Ohtani showed up. Folks, this is the greatest gift we've ever been given in our baseball lifetimes. I really mean that. I'm not trying to get over my skis on Ohtani. I have been approaching this for a couple of years now. I mean, I've had debates with Ray Ratto on the air about, you know, Ohtani, if his career ended today, he's in the Hall of Fame. There's never been anyone like him, and he continues to prove that on a near nightly basis where he goes and does something that hasn't happened in 100 years or 50 years or whatever milestone he's getting over in any particular month or week or moment or game. The guy is simply outstanding. Just an outstanding baseball player to the point where he's the most gifted baseball player to ever pick up a bat, a ball, and a glove, I think, ever born. I don't know what the argument would be. Would it be but Babe Ruth? Is that your argument? Okay, we'll dissect that a little bit later on. I just want to take you through Ohtani's Tuesday night where he had 2 home runs and a 3-for-3 night at the plate, while he went 6 1/3 with 10 strikeouts against just 2 walks. It's one of the single greatest games ever in baseball history. And I know there's some people who are like, well, Madison Bumgarner struck out 10 and hit 2 home runs in the same game, and we will address that in a moment too. But those two things are not the same, not even close. Don't get fooled. Shohei Ohtani now has 2 games this season with 10 strikeouts and 3 or more hits. He's the only player since 1900 to do that. So, not bad. Is that a big enough sample size for you? Did you get enough sampling there, I hope? You got your samples that you needed? Was that big enough for you? The guy is simply remarkable. He's the greatest baseball player. How about this? The only thing I'm sure of, and I'm sure maybe one of the only things that we can all agree on in such a divided world with you get your stack of information, I get my stack of information, people think that they can now invent their own stacks of information and use them as the truth. Again, it's not just the everyone's get their own opinion, not their own truth. Well, we live in a post-that world where you can have your own truth, whether it's made up or not these days. It's nuts. The one thing we can all agree on is that we're living the same lifetime together. This is my lifetime, that's your lifetime, and we are in this lifetime together. If you're sharing this lifetime with me, you've never seen anything like Shohei Ohtani because it has not existed at any point in time in our lifetimes until right now. We are watching history unfold right now. You know, the whiff of greatness is officially in the air. If you can't smell it, it's time to go to a doctor and get your nose checked out. I don't know what to tell you. There are people who are still denying what Ohtani is or becoming, or want to argue that player X, Y, or Z was better because of longevity, blah, 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 statistical accumulation over decades of playing in baseball, whatever. You're not talking about what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a skill set possessed by one human ever born on the planet. And he's got it, and we're watching it in real time. It's also the least covered story of the last 50 years, and that is an indictment on Major League Baseball. That is an indictment on who America chooses to root for, and it's also an indictment on the Los Angeles Angels organization. It's all those things. We'll break it all down for you here. Shohei Ohtani has 13 home runs in June, tying the Angels' franchise record for the most in a single month. There are still 3 more games left for Shohei this month. In just the month of June, Shohei Ohtani has recorded 13 home runs and 37 strikeouts. He's hitting .304. He's hitting .407 when he's the starting pitcher. Take the ball, hit .407. So again, when he's not pitching, he hits home runs like he's Babe Ruth. And when he is pitching, he might hit home runs like he's Babe Ruth, but he's got a batting average that is better than Ted Williams in 1941. What more do you want? What the hell do you want? Oh, how about this? How about paying a guy just $5.5 million to do that? That's what Shohei is getting paid, $5.5 million. Not since Steph won an MVP, getting paid $11 million a year by the Warriors, has there been a better value in sports. When I'm thinking of what he's got coming to him next year, I mean, he's going to get at least a $45 million a season raise. The San Francisco Giants better put every single arrow they've got pointed at Shohei Ohtani. I'm going to try to speak it into existence. Shohei Ohtani needs to be a San Francisco Giant. You put that guy in the Giants right now, they're in first place. They're a World Series contender maybe with him. There's no great shakes in the National League. You put Shohei on the Giants, you got something. Giants, look, if I'm Ohtani's agent, the bidding begins at $55 million per season. We're opening negotiations at $55 million, and if I were the Giants, I would be first in line with a $60 million a year 5-year contract. 5 years, $300 million, and you'd be willing to go to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10 years, whatever it takes. This is the ultimate whatever it takes signing. They need it. I need it. I need Shohei Ohtani in my life. I need John Miller calling Shohei Ohtani shots in Japanese. I need that. And I got to be completely honest with you here. You know, one of the reasons why I hate John Fisher so much, and I told you this, is he makes me think dark thoughts. Like when I think of how could the A's possibly get out of the situation that John Fisher's in? Like I imagine John Fisher dying. Maybe that would help. Maybe the next person in line to inherit the team wouldn't be John Fisher. They'd be a Fisher, but maybe there's a good Fisher. I don't know. I don't even care anymore, basically. It's gross. But he makes me think dark thoughts, and for that I hate him. I think my love for Shohei Ohtani is now greater than my hate for John Fisher, and that'll be represented when the next time the Angels are in town, I'm going. I am going back to the Coliseum. I will actually give that motherfucker John Fisher my money to watch this guy play. And I swear I'd never give John Fisher a penny. But I think I will because I want to go there, and I want to go there as a fan. I don't want to sit in a stuffy press box. And I will, I'll wear an A's hat. I'll be rooting for the A's, but I will be there to watch Shohei Ohtani. I think he's going to get me to the. I think he's going to get me to the Coliseum. I think that's the power of Shohei Ohtani. My love for Ohtani is greater than my hate for John Fisher, and I didn't think there was going to be a baseball emotion that would trump a hate for John Fisher. But my love for Ohtani is officially doing that. By the way, your love for Ohtani is represented in the clicks. I put out a video today of the Giants and my opinion of this road trip that they were on. I think it's gotten like 50 views in the hour or so it's been up, or maybe even 15 views, whatever. I put up an Ohtani video. It's like 4,000 views, which in, the grand scheme of YouTube is nothing. Mr. Beast isn't worried of me yet. Hasn't even heard of me, but he will. And it might be the Ohtani train that puts me on the radar. And I'm riding it because to me, it's the least covered, most important story of our sports lifetime. I mean that. I really mean that. I want to kind of deprogram the I'm anti saying Shohei Ohtani is the greatest player of all time arguments right now. And that argument always begins and usually ends with Babe Ruth. And Babe Ruth is a mythic figure who absolutely deserves his status in Major League Baseball. And I'm not trying to cut Babe Ruth's legs out from underneath him to make Shohei Ohtani taller, but I am telling you that it is just two completely different conversations. It's two different sports basically being played. Comparing these two guys against each other is fool's gold. It's insane. Babe Ruth never saw the diversity of pitches that Shohei Ohtani sees throughout 9 innings of baseball. I don't think there were many wipeout sliders that Babe Ruth was facing. Like that was a fastball, knuckleball, changeup, curveball league. There were 4 pitches basically. You spitball. But it wasn't this stuff. There was no ghost forks. There weren't shit you've never even heard of coming out of pitchers' hands all the time throughout 9 innings. What Babe Ruth also never saw, beyond the diversity of pitchers, was a diversity of pitches and a diversity of pitchers. It was common for dudes to throw at least 150 pitches in an outing when Babe Ruth played. 150, 200, but they didn't even count pitches. It wasn't even on anybody's mind to count these things. You'd have a guy pitch 2-3 games in a row, and his pitch count after 2-3 games in a row would be 500, 600 pitches. So the sport was totally different. And I don't want to demean the competition that Babe Ruth was playing against, but let's face it. Those were professional athletes in their times, which meant they were grocery clerks. Grocery. They were grocery. Why can I say that? I need another sip of coffee. Grocery clerks. Good God. They were butchers. They were taxi cab drivers. They raised horses. They went back to their wheat fields and farmed in their off seasons. They weren't working out in facilities in Florida year round. They didn't hit the cage in Scottsdale months before the season began. They rang up Mrs. Mulcahy's cuts of lamb or whatever she ordered at the butcher store that day. Grocery clerks. There we go. I said it. Like there was a glitch in the matrix there for a second. Speaking of the lack of diversity of pitchers and pitches that Babe Ruth dealt with, he dealt with a total lack of diversity, as in racial diversity. Ice Cube said it best. Babe Ruth was good against them white boys, but he never hit a brother like Doc Gooden. And that's the truth. I don't even want to enter the debate of do black players and Latino players make baseball better? The answer is yes. The game is completely different from the way it was managed. You think Babe Ruth ever saw an opener? You think Babe Ruth ever even saw a closer? Not once. Not once. He'd see Ohtani's out there seeing 3 different pitchers every 4 or 5 at-bats of his career. Babe Ruth would get 9 innings against a dude named Drizzly or something who was throwing, just mutton chops up there. I'm the second lamb reference on the show today. Maybe it's time I get some lamb chops. Well, mint jelly. Ooh. I have to go to Guerra's a little bit later. From The Athletic, with Tuesday's performance, Ohtani becomes the first player in baseball history to hit 10-plus home runs and strike out 35 hitters in a month. Now, Babe Ruth is the only other player that had a 10-home run month and a 35 strikeout month at any other point in his career. Didn't happen even in the same season, but he did that in his career. It's from OptaStats. Let me put it another way, because, to go back to Babe Ruth, it's such a different time ago, but there's still a human factor there, and I don't want to diminish Babe Ruth any more than I'd try to diminish the first car that ever won the first Indianapolis 500. I looked this up today. So the first ever Indianapolis 500 was run in 1911, and the car that won that day was, without question, a modern marvel for its time, a true piece of machinery that was greater than any other piece of machinery ever built to run a 500-mile race. And the first winner of the first Indianapolis 500 in 1911 clocked 500 miles in 6 hours and 42 minutes. That's a remarkable 500 miles in 1911 in 6 hours and 42 minutes. It's remarkable. That's the Babe Ruth of cars. How do you think that car would do today? When Elio Castroneves won in 2021, he won his 500-mile race in 2 hours and 37 minutes. So what is state-of-the-art in the early 1900s and what would perform today are 2 totally different things. Now, I know that this is a comparison of machine versus man, but it's dramatic enough that I wanted to bring it up. There's no such thing as athletes are getting worse in modern athletics compared to the athletes of yesteryear. It's always bigger, faster, stronger, better developed, more researched, more prep, more concentration, more specialization. It's never getting easier. It only gets harder. I wish we had a time machine to really settle this debate. I would love to put Babe Ruth in the middle of a modern lineup. And you know what? I'll give the Babe 35, 40 home runs. He's special. He was special enough for me to think that he would eventually get the hang of it and he'd be able to handle elements of the modern major leagues. Like, that's how good Babe Ruth was. What I'd really like to do is put Shohei Ohtani in a time machine and send him back to Babe Ruth's time. Would he throw a no-hitter with every outing? Like, do you think there's a chance that Shohei Ohtani in the 20s and in the 30s would have hit 450, 500 off of the league with 100 home runs? I think he would have. I think he would have. So, any argument trying to tell you that Shohei Ohtani's not the most remarkable thing of all time that brings up Babe Ruth is just, you're dealing with 2 different languages, 2 different alphabets. There's nothing in baseball today that really compares with baseball back then. Nothing. The other argument that I've seen, and I've seen it from Giants fans who have said, Madison Bumgarner hit 2 home runs in the same game and he struck out 10. It's actually happened 6 times in Major League history. Look, there is a big difference between I'm today's starting pitcher who ran into a couple of balls in my at-bats and hit a couple out and what Shohei Ohtani's doing. They are not the same. They simply aren't. And if your point is, well, Madison Bumgarner hit 2 home runs and struck out 10 in the same game, my follow-up question would be this. Did Bruce Bochy have Madison Bumgarner hitting third in the lineup that day? Was Madison Bumgarner at any point in time, specifically the month of June, leading Major League Baseball in home runs and RBIs? Was Mad Bum ever doing that in June? The only time Madison Bumgarner ever led Major League Baseball in home runs was, I believe, that one opening day where he hit a home run in Arizona on opening day, and no one else hit 2 home runs. So for one day, Madison Bumgarner had the Major League lead with his 1 home run on the first day of the season. Like, that's it. It's June. Shohei Ohtani's leading baseball in home runs and RBI. Was Madison Bumgarner ever on pace to hit 56 home runs in a season? Because that's the pace that Ohtani is on. Look, if he were a Yankee, you'd have a much better understanding. If you're late to the Shohei Ohtani party, I forgive you. That's okay. But it's time you get on board, because we're watching a truly moment in time remarkable athlete ply his trade at the height of his power. And if that doesn't interest you, what are you a sports fan for? Why do you even like baseball? You know, if Ohtani were a Yankee, you would have a better understanding, because he would be so force-fed to you. He would be the center of attention. He wouldn't be nearly off the radar of attention, because that's where the Anaheim Angels live, even with an attraction like this to offer. They live far off the radar of attention. You'd resent his greatness almost at this point if he were wearing pinstripes. Oh my God, it would be all that SportsCenter led every SportsCenter with. It would be all that was talked about. It would be the lead on every debate show. Just Ohtani. You'd be tired of him by now. We're watching the single greatest baseball player ever, along with, and I really believe this, and this is why I'm doing Ohtani Tuesdays, and we're talking about him this Wednesday for 22 minutes now into the show, because this is the single most underreported story of our sports lifetimes. This isn't nearly getting the attention that it deserves. It's crazy. And if we can be completely honest here, and this is where it's going to get a little ugly, but I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to be honest with you. No bullshitting here on the Plus. If Shohei Ohtani, if his name were Stevie Ohio, and he was blue-eyed and a strapping, blonde-haired young man, things would be different. Things would be different. He would be covered in a different way. We know that. We know how jingoistic American sports fans can become. I think it's going to be interesting to see how quickly, Victor Wembanyama gets embraced as a new face of the NBA. Look at the reluctance people have had on Nikola Jokic. Why? Because he's not American-born. Shohei Ohtani's not American-born. If he were, he'd be more famous than Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg, and Mike Trout combined. By the way,
name that fish.
Trout. Stevie Ohio could be a great name too, right? I mean, if we had Johnny Utah, FBI, we could have a Stevie Ohio. What's your name? Stevie Ohio. Oh, Mr. Ohio. Now batting number 30, Stevie Ohio. People would go nuts and be like, oh, dude, I got a Stevie jersey. I'm not even a fan of the team, but I'm wearing a Stevie Ohio jersey. I think I need a Shohei Ohtani jersey. I'm not a man who wears a lot of jerseys. I got an Andre Dawson jersey. I got a Patrick Willis jersey. I got a couple of Mark Grace jerseys. So I got a couple baseball jerseys with the number 17 on it. I think I need one for Ohtani. I really do. By the way, the characters on today's thumbnail, that's legend in Japanese. I think I need a translator. Like not to translate my videos, but like a translator sitting next to me for an upcoming Ohtani Tuesday. I think that needs to happen. Talk directly to my Japanese audience who are getting, like, Japan's got 5% of my audience share right now. We might have to do a out-of-town scoreboard to see which country can add the most subscribers by the time football season gets here. Turn it into a competition, like that Jello shots thing that they do at the College World Series, which apparently LSU won that too. Doesn't it feel like anytime LSU wins anything, the one thing you can be sure of is they cheated to do it? I'm sorry, I just feel that way. I'm looking at you side-eyed, LSU. Always have, always will. But I respect it. Shohei Ohtani interests me more than the San Francisco Giants do. And I'll tell you, the San Francisco Giants are pretty damn interesting all of a sudden, aren't they? Tonight, they are at the Blue Jays once again. I should say this afternoon. The game starts, I believe, 4:07 once again. I know that stinks for some of you who are trapped in a cubicle or in your office and you can't get to it. It works perfectly for me. I love when the Giants start around 4 o'clock in the afternoon and wrap up by the time I got the kids getting into bed. I love that. I like an East Coast start time for the Giants. Logan Webb Day for San Francisco. The Giants have won, I believe, a team record 10 straight on the road. I looked this up today. The last time the Giants lost on the road was a month ago, May 28th, at Milwaukee. It's June 28th. That's a month. So Giants are cooking. Let's see him keep it up. By the way, you know what I'd also like to see again today? I'd love to see those powder blue Toronto Blue Jays uniforms. How gorgeous are those? I love those powdered blues by the Toronto Blue Jays. Those are fantastic uniforms. They should wear those every other game. They really should. By the way, merch will be coming soon. We've been ordering some stuff, seeing who produces the best quality, because when we put it out to you, when we give it to you, the people, we want it to be outstanding. We really do. So Jillian has ordered a few things from a couple of different distributors, and we're going to get it all done, and we're going to have it available for you by the holidays. Yankees at the A's at the Coliseum. JP Sears tries to keep the fun train rolling. That is the Oakland A's. Oh, my God. They did beat the Yankees 2-1 last night. The Warriors got some news on Tuesday evening that Ragu, Dante DiVincenzo, is gone. Dante DiVincenzo declined his player option. This was expected. No surprises here in any way, shape, or form. I liked him. I wanted to like him a lot more. I really did. Dante DiVincenzo was okay for the Warriors. He never blossomed into what I really hoped that he would be for the team. He was, at his best, a pest. He would pester the opponent. I can't remember a single game that he really dominated or had an awesome night. I mean, he'd flash some, he'd have moments. He didn't string enough of those moments together. Dante DiVincenzo will be missed, but that's not some part of, piece of a winning equation that can't be replaced. It's going to be tough to replace and build around this team, though, because of the constraints on the Warriors' issues and salary cap and aprons and all that stuff. So, what free agent, which guy is going to be willing to take less to come and play with this team is going to go a long way into explaining what this roster ends up looking like. And I want to wrap up today before we get into Club Plus with just an admission of bias. And my admission of bias on Trace Jackson Davis is out there for everyone to see. The Indiana banner behind me, clearly tells you where I'm from and what I care about. But it also should inform you that I spent more time watching that guy, and I've never gassed you up on a single Indiana player like the way I'm gassing you up on Trayce Jackson-Davis. And I'm not doing that to embarrass myself or sell something that's not there. I really think the guy's going to work out with the Warriors. I really do. I think it's going to be a great fit. And what I like so much about him, again, is that level of experience that he brings to the table that no other Steve Kerr rookie has even come close to bringing to his first NBA practice. Trayce Jackson-Davis walks in with a graduate degree in basketball. Let's see if he can apply that to the NBA. And this is where I'm going to accuse myself of some bias, because you know who I don't like? I don't like Chris Paul. I never really have. I've always, as a basketball player, he's great, but his on-court demeanor, the way he presents, it's Chris Paul. I don't have to explain to anybody why I don't like Chris Paul. There's enough people who don't like Chris Paul to where I think you probably get it. But if I'm going to take the concept of experience and apply it to why I like one player, I guess in order to be fair, I should apply it to both. Chris Paul has a level of NBA experience that creates he's old jokes, but you can't sniff it, or you can't turn your nose up at it anyways. Like it is amazing the amount of experience that they add with Chris Paul. And if he stays healthy, it could work out. Maybe I'm just trying to talk myself into this in my mind. I was thinking about how lucky Trayce Jackson-Davis, he starts his NBA career in the 2 point guards who are going to be feeding him, or Steph Curry and Chris Paul. It's like two of the all-timers right there. That should make a team go. You don't just have one of the greatest guards of all time. You have two of the greatest guards of all time, forgetting their age, just knowing what they can do, their experience, the reps that they've gotten in this league. Hopefully that matters. Steph Curry said to Anthony Slater recently, every team that Chris Paul has been on gets better. That's the most consistent thing about him and who he is and what he brings to the team. Everybody's going to talk about the age. It's on us to put all that together and figure out how all the pieces work. That's Steph Curry talking to Anthony Slater in The Athletic. Klay Thompson said, anytime you get to play with a player who's among the best of your generation, it's an honor. It's a little weird because we've had so many battles in the past with Chris. He's led so many teams that nearly knocked us off or did knock us off all the way back in 2014. Little shade there from Klay. Love Klay. I just think it's going to add such a calming presence and a leadership component that we need. It's amazing that a team with Steph, Klay, and assuming he resigns Draymond, and boy, does Draymond have an awful lot of power in his hand come Friday afternoon when free agency begins. It's amazing that a team with 4 rings for its 3 stalwart components, its big 3, would need as much leadership as they claim to need. But you can't hear so many players talk about a lack of leadership and assume that they're just making it up. So maybe Chris Paul really is a steady Eddie, slowing it down, calming presence that'll give the Warriors' second unit a little bit of a change-up as compared to the way the first unit plays. And if it were up to me to snap my fingers and start next basketball season right now, I would do it. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fascinating to see how that puzzle all fits together. Thank you for fitting Damon Bruce Plus into your schedule. We love doing live shows with you, talking directly to you. Monday through Friday, we get going at 11 a.m. West Coast time. If you're new, welcome. If you're an OG, good to have you. If you're listening on the podcast, it's wonderful to have you too. And please do remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Oh, hold on. Wait, I got to plug this in. I need to move this thing over. There we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wait, I want to turn that. That's a little too bright, right? That's too bright. Hold on. Let's make it sexy. Let's get all Sybil Shepherd set. Ooh, there we go. That's nice, right? Does that work good? And as I pick this up, I realize that I have yet to thank my sponsors. I was so deep in my Ohtani bag that I forgot to say, where are you going for lunch today? You should go to Ike's. Get yourself an Ike's sandwich. You're going to be happy that you did. Delicious. Use his app to have it delivered to you. Oh, my God, a little something for everyone at Ike's. If you like Dutch Crunch, you're in the right neighborhood. The bread to meat ratio at Ike's always works. You need a good burger to bun ratio. You get that at Uncle Boy's. Go ahead and pick up not only a burger, but don't forget those onion rings and that lumpia at Uncle Boy's. And let me tell you about my boys here at Blacken. There's a reason why I carry the 2x4 and threaten you with it. It's because the whiskey is absolutely delicious. Deep apologies to all my beautiful sponsors. I normally get you in that first bit of the show, but I forgot. I'm so wrapped up in my Ohtani. Apologies, everyone. Apologies. How about this? Oy, oy, oy! From the postman in Capitola, but he's not in Capitola. He's in Milano. Says, I missed the Plus. Back to live shows next Tuesday. In the meantime, how about a send it in, Jerome? Oh, we got you there. We can do that too. Yeah, I know we can. Where is it? I think I got it.
Send it in, Jerome!
There you go. Enjoy Italia. Maybe this is why my international audiences are growing so much. Jillian's watching over in London. Postman in Capitola's tuning in from Italy. It's good stuff. People are getting it too. People are getting it. That dude Ohtani. Whoa. Now, what's great is there's always a conversation of Rockin' New Era 84 and Eric Johnson, two OG Plusers for sure, talking about songs I used to play on the show that I've even forgotten about, sound drops that I don't even have anymore. Eric says, I remember the New Rockin' Era 84 says, I remember the other Japanese sound drop, but I forgot what it was and what it said. Yeah, I used to play Sashin. Eric remembers it. I'm trying to remember it too. I believe it was a strike call. It was baseball related for sure. It was Hideo Nomo's first major league strikeout. Assassin! I guess that's how you say strikeout in Japanese. Yosarian. Yosarian's onto it. Shazing! It's something like that. Shazing. It came out funny. It was a great sound bite. We used it. But yeah, that was Hideo Nomo. Remember Hideo Nomo? Maybe you do, or maybe you don't anymore, in which case you don't remember it no mo. See what I did there? Talking about Babe Ruth, Ohtani, you got it right here, dude. Not on the same level. No, they're not. Madison Bumgarner was incredible. He was very special. There's no doubt about that. He was very special. He never led the league in home runs in the month of June. Never led Major League Baseball in RBI. Uncle Boys is in here. Uncle Boys. Sorry we got to you late today, Uncle Boys. Lumpia. That's right. Go get that lumpia. Irwin knows. HR brings up a great point. Don't forget Canseco pitched. You're right. Jose Canseco, greatest baseball player of all our lifetimes. I forgot about him. Aaron Judge, MVP. No chance. No chance. You can give it to Ohtani right now. You can give it to Ohtani right now. Thank you, sweaty Raider. Yeah, this is what baseball needs. Let's get Ohtani out of Anaheim. Let's put him in San Francisco. Let's put him in San Francisco. This is Addy Ognira. I think I might have got that right. Addy, I have never seen you in here before, so welcome to you. I like what Ohtani says on the interview. He wants to be better for the fans. He does this for all baseball fans. Look, he's doing it for himself, too. This is his job, and he's outstanding at it. But the guy's an entertainer. He puts on a show. No doubt about it. He puts on a show. I'm scrolling all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to work my way back up top. Dirty old Hungus says, Hideo Nomo, Mr. Nice Guy. That was a good Stan Verrett. It really was. Ooh, look at that. Jingle jangle. Yosarian. Thank you very, very much, Yosarian. Johnny Utah. Stevie Ohio. Hell yeah. By the way, this is good inside information. The lumpia are not on the touch menu, so you have to ask. Ask me about my lumpia when you get to Uncle Boy's. Yeah. Damon, in order to pay tribute to the NHL draft, we need a Donskoy drop.
Donskoy.
Yeah, there you go.
Donskoy.
NHL draft day. Blackhawks. I think we know who they're taking. Number 1 pick. Yeah, baby. Someone's exciting about name that fish. Thank you, Osarian. Thank you. Yeah, the Welcome to Lithuania song is another one that's lost, I believe, in the annals of Damon Bruce show history at this particular time. I don't have the Welcome to Lithuania. I also don't have the they sucked at defense. There it is. Oh, how about this? Rick Mighty Bone Feliciano, Lithuania. They sucked at defense. Sporticus says, I love what Ohtani's doing. Hopefully baseball will realize more players can pitch and hit if they're allowed to. Baseball was originally designed for players to play both offense and defense. It's just, I think it's the kind of thing that's very hard to say that a lot of people got that waiting in them. They just need to have it tapped. Ohtani is one of one. He really is. Could somebody else do it? I guess. But man, has Ohtani become the official baseball player of the Plus? Well, that will always be Mark Grace, but Ohtani's second, for sure. You invent the concept of slump busters, you're my guy. That's how that works. Let's see. Scrolling, good stuff. Lots of stuff here. Let's see. This is from Legends Pizza, who doesn't know how to change out of his one Google account to the next. I'm in the same boat. Don't you worry about that. Nothing to be ashamed of. Chris Paul doesn't seem too excited to come to Golden State. Just the vibe I'm getting from the way he's answering questions. I think he's a little stunned that he's reached this point in his career. I think that there's a lot of my career reality washing over Chris Paul. And I don't think that this is the way he imagined it at the end of his career. Now, what you hope is that the way he feels about the Warriors will grow exponentially the minute he gets around these guys and he realizes, hey, it's official. I'm on the best basketball team I've ever been on. And I can only think, how the Warriors going to look with Chris Paul setting up Clay or Curry when he's running with the ones, how he's going to just throw lobs to Kuminga and Trace Jackson Davis and Andrew Wiggins. I got to see it all fit together. But I'm starting to think about it in a better light than I did when it first started. Otis Bird says, I'm going to miss DiVincenzo. I guess I will too a little bit, but he never turned into what I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be a lot better. Tommy Huxley says, hey, virgins. What are you talking about, Tommy? Dude, this show fucks. Come on. Yo, Adrian says, the Plus is loose in Japan. Allow me then to say, konnichiwa, bitches. Indeed. And we mean that with all due respect and love. Konnichiwa. Otis Bird again saying those powder blue unis ain't bad. The powder blue movement going on in Major League Baseball. Anyone who had a powder blue jersey should bring it back. I mean, it's the truth. Those are glorious. The Cubs got a powdered blue that they used to wear that they should bring back. Blue Jays, Cardinals, Phillies, Royals. I think the Twins also got that. Those are good. I like those. I like those an awful lot. True blue forever. I need a Plus hat pin. A hat pin? A hat pin? What are you, like an old lady sitting in the bleachers? Yeah, a hat pin? I didn't even thought of that as merch, but okay. Jillian, if you're watching, we need to order one hat pin for True Blue Forever. I don't know anyone else who's going to want one of those. Nathaniel Richards, I want a coffee mug. You're not the only one, Nathaniel. The Shaw coffee mug with the logo. It's happening. I want swag. Thank you very much. And come on, Plusers, hit that like button. Yeah, smash that like button. Get in there. Get in there. Get on it. Kanji, Damon. Yeah, I'm learning things. Kanji is the alphabet in Japan. Azur Laren. Again, learning your name too. I think we saw you in here yesterday, Azur. Welcome on back. Do you think Ohtani striking out Trout in the World Baseball Classic? Hold on. You say Trout. Now I have to
Name that fish.
Do you think Ohtani striking out Trout in the World Baseball Classic was the springboard for Ohtani interest? I think it was definitely a springboard for World Baseball Classic interest, and it was an incredible moment. I mean, I know it's another element of his career that pulled me in, but you can go ahead and you can call Ray Ratto. I was talking about Ohtani 2 years ago, and he was trying to tell me, slow down, slow down, slow down. Ray committed to never getting excited about anything at all times. I was trying to tell him, get excited about this guy. We're watching something that you've never seen in your life, Ray. No one living or breathing has ever seen a player like this until this. How about our friend Roddy Richards watching on Twitch? You want to talk about not getting Twitch any love? I totally forget I'm on Twitch, but we're on Twitch too. You can follow me. You can watch on Twitch. You can be one of the 6,300 plus subscribers that we had over here, 6,400, whatever it is right now, subscribers that we had over here, or you can be like one of 9 people watching me on Twitch and have your real tiny click. You should do a live remote in Japan for the podcast. Gonna need to figure out a way to get that sponsored. I would hey, Jillian, honey, I'm gonna need $5,000 to go to Japan and hang out with my guys over there. Who's your guys over there? Well, no one. I don't know anybody over in Japan right now, except for one. No, that's not true. I know the one guy who's translating he's translating my Ohtani Tuesdays into Japanese for his audience. His name is Shirashi. So maybe I can go kick it with Shirashi. There we go. Bamboo Soldier. Shout out to Japan and my fellow Japanese Americans. Hell yeah. We're coming for you, Japan. Look, I wonder how many Japanese people think that, oh, he's going with like Godzilla silhouette kicking over this broadcasting tower, Sutro Tower in San Francisco to appeal to us. I've had that sucker since 2005. Finally, Japan coming around. Who's got the better jersey collection, myself or Damon Bruce? I'm guessing it's you from T from the 203. I don't have many. Ones I have are dear to me. Here we go. Sweaty Raider saying, hello, Japan. Oh, here we go. I'm working backwards here today. T from the 203. I still have a Mark Grace jersey. Nice. Is it an old school Mark Grace jersey, though, where his name's not even on the back of it, just the number 17 before they started putting their Cubs players' names on the back of their home jerseys? Like, it's not enough to have a Mark Grace jersey. You need a Mark Grace jersey from like 1989. Those are the gorgeous Mark Grace jerseys with the old Cub logo on the shoulder. That's what I need. Oh, hold on.
Name that fish.
I had to play that again for True Blue Forever, who asked, do you think Mike Trout was ever jealous of Tim Salmon? That is outstanding Angels fish name lineup knowledge and questions. Thank you very, very much. Uncle Boy's correcting us. Lumpias are not on the secret menu. They are there, but get yourself next time you're at Uncle Boy's, get Lumpias. My man Tion. Before we tear up this Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, you need to be on every sports radio show. Nobody seems to know much about Trace. Well, that is why I'm here, to educate the people. And thank you for the jingle jangle. That's going into the ganja jar. Going into the ganja jar. The other folks on sports radio don't know much about Trace, and they're treating him like just another rookie. Well, here's the thing. He is just another rookie until he proves himself otherwise, but this isn't a guy with just another rookie starting point, and certainly no rookie that Steve Kerr's ever coached starting point. And there's this thing that I do that really no other sports talk show host in San Francisco, except Tom Tolbert. I'll give Tommy credit because he still watches college hoops, and I watch college hoops. I love college hoops. There's no Dave Fleming, because he's doing games on ESPN, watches more college hoops than anyone other than Tom Tolbert on KNBR, and certainly anybody on 95.7 The Game. Now that I'm not there anymore, nobody's watching college hoops but Damon. What do we got? What do we got? I think there's some truth here from old Dirty Hungus, who says somewhere, possibly subconsciously, Paul knows he's joining the bad guys because he can't beat them. I think so. I think so. I think that that's a part of it. This is not the way Chris Paul always, I think, wanted to be the lead dog on a championship team. He hasn't been one to this point in his career, so he's not going to be one. He's got to get into the sidecar. That's a tough place for a Hall of Famer to see his career go to. I think we're just watching, a little reality sink in for Chris Paul here. He wanted to come back with the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns get interesting, and boom. It's, he's gone. He's out. Mitch is in for a coffee mug for sure. Mitch, you've been very generous throughout your jingle jangle days, so thank you. I know you got my back. Sporticus, what's a hat pin? Exactly. I mean, come on. Oh, Baron Red saying, I'd buy a Plus hat pin. Hat pins. This is an element of income I never even considered. Damon, Shohei Ohtani is truly a next-level talent, no question, but there are two other athletes who eclipse him. Michaela Schifrin. Who's she? Does she play tennis? Is she a gymnast? And Novak Djokovic. Maybe Djokovic. But I don't watch enough tennis. And I'm sorry, Michaela Schifrin, like I remember her name, but I don't even know what sport she plays. And it's certainly not as important as Major League Baseball in America. So no. Alan, I understand you're from another country, but no. Stop it. Bamboo Soldier says, hey, D. Bruce, you need an official sushi spot. Oh, man, I would eat them out of house and home. I'd just sit there and just tear through Toro all night. But, yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, Sporticus. Hey, did you hear about the fire at the LSU campus library? They're raising money to replace all the coloring books. SEC jokes. I like that. Ike says, have Ohtani's people call my people. I'll try to put him in touch with you. Ike, sorry I got to the promotion late today. I'm telling you, we need to get Ohtani to the Giants happening. We need to get Ohtani to the Giants. If this guy were in my backyard, I swear to God, I'll buy season tickets. Well, I don't know if I can afford season tickets right now. Uncle Boys is on. Dude, he's like, the hat pins are dope. What's this? Katie Ledecky. Sporticus says, Katie Ledecky, one of the greatest athletes of our lifetime. It's swimming. Stop. Michaela Schifrin is 4-time World Cup champion of skiing. She's American, by the way, as am I. Oh, okay. But aren't you living somewhere else right now? I think you are. Yeah, dude, she fucking skis. Calm down. Can't compare the history of Major League Baseball to a skiing. Come on. Finland. I love the Finnish. Thank you very much. And we got to finish this one because Daddy's got some things to do today. He's got a couple places to go, a few people to see, a few palms to press, some people to influence as the Plus continues to grow. I want to thank you very much for tuning in today. It was great talking to all of you. Really, really appreciate your time this afternoon. Thank you for spending so much of your time here. Again, if you ever got to get up and walk away, just leave that tab open. Let this bad boy run to its completion. Go ahead, run it back a few times today. Have it on mute. You don't even need to watch. Just help it grow. You're a big part of the success we're enjoying early here, and we wouldn't enjoy any success without you. Thank you so very much for tuning in, and I'll just let you know as Club Plus shuts down for the day that you don't have to go home. You just can't stay here.